Okay. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Wow. Welcome to another amazing session on Trem, the Real Estate Masterclass for the month of September. It's been an amazing journey from January when we started. And I'm so excited that you're joining me again tonight. The Real Estate Masterclass, Trem for short, is our monthly empowerment masterclass to help people navigate their journey towards creation, especially as it relates to blessed vehicle. I realize that a lot of people don't yet have clarity and understanding about the many dimensions and many aspects of real estate possibilities. And most of the time, because of what we call the bandwagon effect, a lot of people are just doing the same thing over and over again, and we have people saying that the market is saturated. But like I said, the market is not saturated, but the methods are saturated because people keep doing the same thing over and over again. So what we're trying to do with the real estate masterclass is to let people know the power of real estate investment and the different dimensions of real estate investment that they can take advantage of. And every month we look at different aspects. And the month of January we started, and we've looked at excuse me, we've looked at land banking. We've looked at sorry, we looked at land banking. We looked at um, housing development. We've looked at farm resorts. We've looked at palm tree. We've looked at hostels. We've looked at shopping malls, shopping complexes. So today we're going to be looking at what we call the warehousing masterclass. And Mr. Theophilus is an amazing entrepreneur and businessman that have done well in this area. And we're going to be bringing him on board today to help give us clarity and understanding about this aspect of real estate. Uh, in the course of our Trem, we're going to be looking at cemetery masterclass, which is another aspect of real estate. We're going to be looking at cinema, the cinema masterclass. We're going to do so many aspects of real estate so that no matter who you are, you'll be able to decide where you want to play and you'll be able to do well. So today we're bringing in Mr. Theophilus Aghomi, and he's going to share with us. I'm going to be bringing him on board anytime from now. I believe he must be in the studio already. Next year, in the month of July, from the 6th to the 12th of July, we're going to be hosting the Global Real Estate Executive Bootcamp. And if you are listening to me right now and you want to know how to become a major player in the real estate sector, either as a developer or you want to become a businessman or an investor in the world of real estate, you want to go into real estate business or real estate investment, then you need to explore registering for GRIP 2026. It's going to be an amazing opportunity. It's going to be 7 days fully residential. And we're going to be sharing so many things with you that will help you to become a major player in the real estate world. Then in the month of March, we're going to be having our Conclave Summit for 2026. So the 2026 Summit will be coming up in March, and you can also register for that. So you're going to be seeing a lot of phone numbers that will be displayed in the course of our time today. Copy those numbers so that you can contact us, and then we'll be able to see how we can help you take advantage of the opportunities that we have available. So let's bring in Mr. Theophilus so that we can start looking at our masterclass, and he's going to be sharing with us how we can explore that aspect of real estate. Yes, so my brother, how are you doing today?
Yeah, good evening, sir. Very fine, thank you. How are you too,
It
sir?
is well.
It
I'm
is
good. Oh,
well.
thank you for the sacrifice to join us for this one. Oh.
We are a very big
So,
family. We are a family. I'm even
thank you.
mighty on
So,
my
we
God.
want to learn. Yeah, we want to learn from you today. Like I've said, a lot of people don't know that in the world of real estate, there are many aspects to real estate that they can explore. So almost everybody keeps doing the same thing over and over again. Everybody wants to do the same thing the same way, and there are many untapped area and unmaximized area. So you have been a major player in the warehousing aspect of real estate. So I want to start by, can you introduce yourself to us for those that don't know you, and then why and how did you decide that it is warehousing that you want to go into?
Thank you very much, sir. I must also start by commending you for creating a platform where people can share experience. I must also thank you for uplifting a lot of people, both the younger and the older generation. Thank you for that great job you are doing, sir.
We thank God.
My name is Aghomi Theophilus. I I am happy you started with that question. That why did I have to go into warehouse? Having worked and the 2 years in one of for me became very important to go into a warehousing business. Like I tell a lot of people, but to the nature of the business. Many are just there for the money. Many are not driven by the passion. But it is important, or the most important is creating value. Once you're going to create value, the money will follow suit. The money will follow suit. Working career. I think that is why I got the inspiration to go into warehousing business. Where I worked formerly, of course, it's a good company, a very big company, capacity that was already overflowing. So people were now committed to go out and look for warehouse. And incidentally, I was one of them. That was how we, and was even in the factory. But even at that, it was still not enough. So that one drove us to visiting warehouses. That is where I begin to see no, there will be a need for warehousing. And so I researched into it and also got to realize that warehousing is not new here. It's been there for decades, for centuries. With the advent of industrialization, there came this. In the agrarian age, there was no need for mass production. But with industrialization and another need to begin to stop. Having what do I do? When I was working, I started with residential estates. That's where I started financial constraint. So when we got the warehouse, as of then, I'm talking about 2010 now, 2010, 2009, 2008, no, 2008, 2009. Just pay the factory myself. Oh, what value can I add in here? If the warehouse is closer to the factory, for sure, it will be a lot of cost savings for the company, and they'll be much more willing to utilize the warehouse because every business is there to also make profits. I needed to add value to the company where I worked. So that's why I acquired about 10,000 square meter piece of land around 2008. I acquired it and left it. And by the time I was leaving, of course, and so by 2010, 20, and by the time I was leaving around 2011, I presented a bankable project to my banks. And good enough, they came into it. And so they completed the project. The rest today is history as we progress. That is how I went into warehousing.
Wow.
But for sure, there is a glaring difference between residential property and the get along.
Wow. Wow. So if I got you right, because of
That
some
was how I
network
got
issue.
into warehouses.
Wow. So because of the network, some things were breaking. So if I got you right, you are working in a multinational that requires warehousing, and then you were part of those that were sent out to go and look for warehousing for your company. And by virtue of being a part of that team, you realize that there was a need, there was a gap for warehousing. And even though you started out with residential, you now acquired land. And when you left the company, you now decided to go into warehousing, and you got your bank to support you. And that's how you started. And that is amazing. And everyone listening to us right now should also identify that. Always make sure you open your eyes, like we say in Nigeria, shine your eyes. Identify the gaps, identify the needs, and find a niche for yourself. There are many people that retire from companies, they leave a multinational, and they have nothing to fall back on because while they were in that career path, they were not learning to understand the business of their career. And this is one thing that we have been trying to share with you people. Now, you made a statement, you said it twice, that you started out with residential, but now you are into commercial, and that it is better. Can you share with us why commercial property like warehousing is better than residential property? Maybe one, two, or three reasons why you believe that it's better to do commercial.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah. Did you get the question? Yeah, question.
Just a few minutes. We're trying to, hello? I'm having some issues, network issues.
Yeah. I'm hearing you. I'm asking that you said commercial is
Okay, I'm
better.
trying to load some things. Just a few minutes. My son is trying to put it on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, while we're waiting for him to come back, I don't know if you heard what he said earlier on. He said he was working in a multinational, and the multinational requires warehousing, and he was part of a team that was sent out to look for warehouses they can rent to put their goods. Even though the company had their own warehousing, it was not enough. And as part of the team, they kept going around looking for warehousing, and realized that there is a market here. And because it was a good job, he was able to acquire 10,000 acres of land, 10,000 square meters of land. He left the land, and a few years later, when he now left the company, he now realized that he could build warehousing. Then he did a proposal, presented it to the bank, and then they financed it, and he was able to build the warehouse. So he started out with residential properties, but ended up with commercial, and commercial is far better than residential. If you know anything about real estate, you will know that commercial is better than residential, and that's the next question I want him to answer, so that he can give us clarity and reasons from his own experience. So if you are listening to me right now and you are not yet playing in the real estate world, I want you to know that there are many dimensions you can play. We have a lot of materials we have prepared over the years. We have the RIM pack, we have the GRIP pack. RIM is an acronym for Real Estate Executive Masterclass. GRIP is an acronym for Global Real Estate Executive Bootcamp. Now, the last one we did was 7 days fully residential, the first of its kind anywhere in the world, and it was a major, major event that changed the lives of many people. And a lot of people need to know that they can also play in that field. So for some people, it's shortlets they are doing. Some people is land banking. Some people they are into cemetery. Some is cinema. Some is film village. Some is hotel. Some is farming. Now we're talking warehousing. So you can find your niche. Some is hostels. And for each of these different areas, we are people that have done amazingly well in them, and we are bringing many of them one after the other to come and share their experience. So these are not theoreticians, these are practitioners that are sharing with you from their own practical experience. So if you want to be a part of what we are doing and you want to learn more, instead of waiting till next year, you can get the RIM pack. They're going to show the phone numbers of the office now. So you copy the phone numbers and then you contact us for the RIM pack and the grip pack. Now, the RIM pack, those are the phone numbers. The RIM pack is Real Estate Executive Masterclass. It's ₦1 million for the pack, and it comes with 3 months mentorship. And because we are trying to, phase that out, we'll give you a 50% discount for that. With 500,000, you can access that pack, and it will still come with a 3 months mentorship. The grip pack, Global Real Estate Executive Bootcamp, is 2.5 million for the pack, and it comes with a 1 year real estate mentorship. People pay $10,000 to be in the room for 7 days to be a part of that. So you can start with that. And if you want to be physically trained, you want to sit and be a part of the next one, it's coming up in July of 2026. It's called GRIP. So from the 6th to the 12th of July 2026, we're going to be having another 7 days fully residential events where we're expecting delegates from all over the world to come and be a part of that meeting. So do everything you can to begin to prepare for that. We have opened up the registration so that people can have 50% discount, because it's going to be 50 million naira for you to be a part of the meeting. Yes, you heard me right, 50 million for 7 days fully residential event. The money covers for the 7 days hotel, your feeding, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It covers for the grip pack. So that grip pack of 2.5 million, every delegate will get it for free. So if you are buying the grip pack now at 2.5, we'll deduct the 2.5 from your money when you now register for grip. Then every delegate will get the master plan for Lagos, the Newtown Development Master Plan, Abuja Master Plan, and the master plan of different parts of the country. Then we're going to be giving every delegate 300 million naira worth of inventory. 300 million naira worth of inventory for every delegate so that you can go and sell and then recover your money back. Every meeting we do, people recover their money. So it's an opportunity for you also to be a part of that. So, and then if you want to be a part of the Billionaires Conclave, the Billionaires Conclave is our mentorship platform. And we have a lot of opportunities for people all over the world to come under the mentorship. And the mentorship is not a real estate mentorship. It's a holistic mentorship that covers relationship, finance, leadership. When it comes to faith, family, and finance, we cover every aspect. It's all to help you to become successful holistically and make you a global player. So, conference will be coming up in the month of March, 6th and 7th of March 2026. We'll have the Conclave Summit. The theme will be R10, realign, retreat, reposition, rebrand. So all the R's, we're going to be dealing with them, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing session. So once our guest is back, we'll bring him back online, and then we'll continue our discussion. But while we are waiting for him to be brought back, please note, you don't have to do real estate the way everybody is doing it. You can decide to choose a niche and stay in that niche. One of my mentees that was with us months back is into hostels, and he came into um, the RIM. He was part of RIM and came back again for GRIP. When he came for RIM in 2021, he paid the millions to attend that class. He came back for GRIP. Excuse me. He came back for GRIP in 2023, and by the time he came in 2021, he was into land banking, selling land, and doing estate. And he went on, saw a lot of mistakes he did. By the time he came for GRIP, he said, you know what? Let me just leave this thing and focus on one area. And between 2023 and now, he has built hundreds of rooms for his hostel. And I'm telling you, he's doing amazingly well. So we have people within the network that have discovered a niche and they have sat down there. Last month, I brought in um, one of our mentees also, that is into palm tree. I invested into his palm tree project in 2001 because I wanted to test what he was, talking about. And in the last 4 years, we have seen the difference. And that's why anybody that is into real estate, discover the area you want to go into. We cannot all play in the same area. Some people are into land banking, some are into residential building, some are into hotels. I brought in Banek, uh, Reverend Banefo. Banek's Plaza is everywhere, and you heard the story. So he has Banek's Plaza, he has Banek's Hotel, and you heard the story. You heard the story. So if you want to go and listen to all the past editions, they're all available on my YouTube channel at Dr. Olumide Emmanuel on YouTube. You see all the Trem past editions. You go there, you listen to it. So now we're about to start the palm tree farm. And I told you last month when we had the palm tree masterclass that if there's anybody that wants to be a part of the palm tree, they should get ready. So now we are almost set. So you can contact us if you're interested to acquire 1 acre or 1 hectare. 1 acre is 6 plots. 1 hectare is 15 plots. So we're going to be doing the pre-launch next month. So this October that we're entering in next week, once we're about to finalize the plan of the land acquisition, and so by next month, October, we'll start the pre-launch. And that will be for 90 days, October, November, December. Then January, we're launching fully. So that's the agenda. The palm tree is agenda 2026. But the pre-launch will start next month, October. So if you are listening to me right now, and you'd like to be a part of the palm tree project, send your name and your phone number to us right now. Send us your name and your phone number. It's going to be about 4 million per acre for the pre-launch price. So it will be like 4 million, 5 million, but we'll let you know when we are launching. But if you know you have 4 million naira that you want to invest to be a part of that, you can get an acre for 4 or 5 million. We'll give you the total price and everything that it entails once we are launching. But get your money ready and let us know, because the pre-launch is not for everybody. We are just going to start with 100 acres. So once we have 100 people that are buying, so some people can buy 10 acres, some can buy 5 acres. So it's only 100 acres we're going to use for the pre-launch. So once the 100 acres is gone, we're done. Then we now go to the launch, and we're going to be launching for somewhere around 6 or 7 million. So it's going to be launching around 6 or 7 million. So make sure that you get ready to be a part of that, and let us know if you are interested. So you can scan the code that we have there, or you call any of the numbers that we're already giving you, so that you can be a part of the palm tree project. So once Mr. Theophilus is back, we'll bring him back on board, and then we'll continue from where we stop.
Beautiful.
Are you back?
Yes, I am, my doctor. Thank you so much. Sorry, my son had to come to one of the issues.
So
exactly.
You mentioned that commercial is better than residential, even though you started with residential. So when you say commercial is better, can you educate us so that people that are listening can know what are the benefits, what are the extra benefits that makes commercial better than residential?
Okay, great. I was looking at going in a chronological order before getting to the benefit. That, for example, I know a lot of people here are already into property development, but what is a warehouse? I want to start with that. I wouldn't know if that would be okay if I come back to your question, sir.
No. Go on. We are here to learn. Yeah.
We want to say, what is a warehouse? A warehouse to most people is just a physical structure for storing products, goods. However, warehousing is different from the warehouse itself. Completely different. But a lot of people think warehousing and warehouse is the same. No. Warehouse in the actual language refers to like your store. While warehousing is the processes involved. And it's a wide range. It's a wide range. From the inbound activity to outbound to the customer. You have a lot of supply chain activities that goes on at the background. So warehouse is just simply the structure with which you house in those products that have been produced or that you want to store. That is the warehouse. Different from the warehousing activities. Good. Now, that is that about the warehouse. We'll now go into the warehousing itself, which is very important. Like I did mention, why are they going into the warehousing? It's important to provide value. And in trying to provide value, you must understand what the business entails. That takes you to the structural job, the structure of the building itself, and locating the warehouse. Because if you must optimize value, there are certain indications and indices you must have to follow. If you put a very good warehouse in my village, for sure, a residential property in Lagos is better than a warehouse in my village. There's no basis for comparison. Now, at that, I have to identify an industrial hub, which is Agbara, to locate our factory, because I was looking at the industrial property. So depending on where you want to put in your warehouse, that is where you optimize it. If you put it far from your suppliers, far from your customers, for sure, they will not want to come to use your warehouse because of cost of logistics. So it is important to marry all this together before establishing that warehouse. To get that benefits, your warehouse must be a hub that is close to the users of that facility. There are different types of warehouses, no doubt. For us, we play in the third-party logistics sector. There are different types. We will get there. We are in the third-party logistics sector because we are not owned. We are independent providers of warehousing facilities. Why they come themselves have their own warehouse. So we must identify where to locate that warehouse to optimize its benefits. Okay. So that is about that. One, I've talked about what the introduction is. What are the types of warehouses? Is what I want to now go into now.
Okay.
So I've talked about warehousing. It's a very important part of logistics. And the 3PL, 3PL stands for third party logistics. That is 3PL, third party logistics. It involves the storing of goods and material in a safe and secure environment. Very important, in a safe and secure environment. Because in my properties, for example, annually billions of naira goes in because I relate more with the multinationals. So they'll be looking at how secure is that property beyond the storage. Because for them to come in and put in their products in your warehouse, they must look at the total package. So that is what it entails. It involves the storing of goods and materials from a way and secured, very secured environment. From rain, there must be no leakage. From sun, from theft, and what have you. And so warehouse play a very vital role in ensuring the smooth flow of goods and materials through the supply chain. Through the supply chain, very important. The warehouse itself is a critical component, very critical component of the supply chain processes. Very critical component of the supply chain processes. There are about 4 or 5 components in supply chain management. But for now, we are limiting ourselves to warehousing because you have procurement, you have warehousing, you have manufacturing, you have distribution, you have customer service. These are all parts of the supply chain family. But we are limiting ourselves today to strictly warehouse. Now, I've talked about the warehousing. Warehousing is the process of storing goods, materials, and products in designated facilities, like I mentioned before, until they are required either for distribution, for repackaging, for usages. It enables businesses to what? To manage their inventory. Very important, inventory management. It enables the business to now manage their inventory. That is why they won't bring you in. Either they can say, okay, can you manage it on their behalf? Or they just want you to store the products for them. Sometimes we manage this inventory on their behalves. We will make use of what? Inventory management systems. But that may not be necessary here. First of all, we are talking about just the warehouse and the warehousing activities. It is clear today a lot of products, especially farm produce, because there are not adequate storage facilities, what happened? Trillions of naira are lost because they cannot be stored. Same thing is applicable. If you cannot store your products over time, you cannot add value to it. The advantages are enormous, indeed very enormous. As we progress, we'll get to know these advantages. Okojo Wala, we've also talked about it. Honestly speaking, these are industry leaders. We are told that trade is not just about borders. No. It's about systems, logistics, and what? Trust. All these are calculated what? In the business world. Senor Olumide also talked about warehousing. We all know Olumide. He said infrastructure is not at a cost. No, it's not just a cost. It's a multiplier. And what does it mean? Infrastructure is not just a cost. It's not just a cost. It's a multiplier to the business. Because if you have good network of roads, good warehouse, it enables your business to strive faster. It enables your business to grow at the pace you want. You can plan. You can also do your forecasting and take advantage of price. Take advantage of demand and supply. But this must have been done by the planning department at the back. The richest man in Africa, Dangote, also talked about it. He said, if you must build a very solid infrastructure, then it is important we clarify the industrialization and impact and logistics. Logistics and warehousing, they're not going pari passu because we're also into haulaging. We move the company's products. That's what we also do. Provide what services. The former Afrexim bankman, Dr. Benedict Omar, also mentioned about it, that you cannot trade what you cannot store. Simply, you cannot trade what you cannot store, except you are looking at a very micro level. But if you are looking at a large scale, how can you trade in large scale if you cannot store? Do you want to be meeting your customer demand every second? You go and produce? No. So you now need to store those products. That is the advent of warehousing. Go ahead. We talked about it. Now let's go to the full types of warehousing. We have the commercial warehouse, the industrial warehouse, and the specialized warehouse. All this property we might regard it as industrial properties. We might refer to them as industrial properties. However, what is a commercial property in our definitions? We said commercial properties are facilities owned and operated by third-party providers for the purpose of offering storage and handling services to what? To multiple businesses. Under the key, multiple businesses. In other words, this commercial warehouse is different from the industrial one that we are going to. For third-party logistics, you provide storage facilities for multiple businesses. For multiple businesses. That is the key word there, multiple businesses. You are not restricted to one business. No. Examples, Tycop. We are commercial warehouse. Bolloré, commercial warehouse. For me, or for us as Tycop, our first client, incidentally, was Nestle Nigeria PLC. They were our first clients. They were there for a couple of years. Of course, after a change of strategy in their business, they moved on. Glaxo, they came in after Nestle left. Because we are situated in the industrial hub of Agbara, there's hardly months that we do not have our clients coming to meet us because there will always be an overflow. After GSK left, of course, Perfetti family, they came. These are confectionery, but also they are multinational companies. Reki Benkisa, Suntory, these have been our clients over time. They have been our clients over time. Not only am I providing the warehousing facility, we're also providing the warehousing services for them and also do haulaging of trucks of their products. Any product that comes from their factory, of course, is handled by our trucks. Our truck bringing the product from their factory into our warehouse. We also use our truck to also move some of these products downtown to their distributors. Value adding, part of the supply chain process. Now we'll talk about the industrial warehouse. The industrial warehouse, by our definition here, these are large-scale storage facilities that are integral to the manufacturing companies. A lot of these companies, especially big companies, what do? They must have internal warehousing facility. They do have it. They do have it. Because when I was starting out, I was clear. I want to play in the premium class. So I clearly defined where I want to play. I want to do majorly with the multinationals. because they can pay better, there's no doubt. So it was clear. If you are bringing your products from any other part, if you are not a multinational company, we don't deal with you. We don't. That has been our business policy from the onset. It is clear, okay, this is the niche we've got ourselves. We defined what we wanted. Our principal goal, our principal objective is to deal with the multinationals. So that is clearly defined. However, if you're also a commercial property, it's up to you to define where you want to play. We all cannot deal with the multinational companies. We all cannot play the premium class because some of these things are capital intensive, depending on the capital outlay that you have. So for these companies, they have their own internal warehousing facility with their warehouse managers, their supply chain managers, their inventory managers, and what have you. I interlink with them. While managing their stocks too, we do that. So principally, the industrial warehouse are located majorly within the factories, closer to their operations. However, there are some of these industrial warehouses that this company have that are a little bit far from their warehouse, but is owned by them. From my experience, this company decided to do what? To let out, to go after third-party warehouses because it is cheaper to operate for them. One, they can focus more on their production. Number two, their overhead is much more lower if they sublet it out, if they also give it out to us. So that is what it takes. They're not talking about the specialized warehouses. Of course, this has to do with cold room warehouses and other ones that require regulated temperatures. These are specialized. For this class, that may not be needed. We want to be focusing on the small, the commercial warehouse. For the specialized one, of course, we don't need to go into that. It's more of the commercial warehouse linking to the industrial warehouse because they bring in the product a lot of times from their own warehouse into the commercial warehouses. I'm using TICOP as a case study with the multinational companies. Now, what are the activities involved? One, it's stated there that warehouses act as a cushion against supply chain disruptions and transport delays. One of the functions of warehouses. It acts as a cushion against what? Supply chain disruptions and transport delays, import bottlenecks, or sudden demand in spikes. Like we tried to elaborate initially, the warehouses, it's a cushion, no doubt, in the supply chain activities. Like I did explain earlier on, supply chain management is not just warehousing. Warehousing is just a component of the supply chain management processes. One, it starts with procurement, supply chain management. From procurement, manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, then customer service. Warehousing is one of the components that we are discussing now. Now, by holding buffer stock, businesses can ensure product availability even in uncertain market conditions. With the warehouse, you can hold your buffer stock. In uncertain conditions, let's use the EndSARS as an example. If there were no stocks on ground and SARS came up, many countries will have closed up. But because they have adequate buffer stocks, which also called the safety stocks, they can plan, forecast, and keep them in the warehouse and take advantage of whatever situation that comes up. Very important. Now, what are the bottlenecks? Like in Lagos today, between Apapa Port and Agbara, depending on where you are, we know the transport challenges. Warehouse comes to play here. There you can put a lot of products in your warehouse. It is saved. It is there. At any time, you can make reference to it, you can pick it up. If, however, you have an urgent need for a product, your customers are waiting, and your truck are trapped in traffic, your customer will not wait. They go to other products, and you lose a share of the market. At that point, your warehouse becomes a very critical component of whatever you want to do. Store a lot of products there. Then inventory, storage, and preservation. This is also at the heart of warehousing. Inventory management. Your everything begins from where? From your inbound activities. Inbound activities. As your product is coming in, that's what we refer to as inbound activities. From your inbound activities to your outbound will require a lot of inventory management processes. Very key. For us, like I said, for this class, the details may not be needed because it has to do with some investments. Because it requires warehouse
Yeah.
management.
We will give them details when they come to grip. Let's just give them
Okay.
something to water their mouth.
Okay. Now, that is for inventory management and preservation. Like what doctor said here, the details will not be given out at that point. Modern houses provide safe and secure storage environment that protect goods from damage and theft. For industries like agriculture and FMCGs, fast-moving consumer goods, proper preservation ensures that products reach the market in good condition. In good condition. That is where the warehouse storage becomes very important. It also go ahead, the core activities, distribution supports, and order fulfillment. This is part of inventory management. Distribution support and order fulfillment. Warehouses are also central hubs in supporting the packaging, dispatching of goods to what? To their destinations. For us, with the multinationals, we dispatch who? We don't deal with the end users. We take it what? To the distributors. In our distribution model, we take it to the distributors. We also do that. That's what our Holy Services provides. They also talk about inventory management and visibility. With the advanced tracking system, this may be necessary. Warehousing offers a real-time visibility and in-stock levels and products movement. This reduces errors, prevents stockouts or overstocking. Let me talk about it a bit here. With your inventory management, all things being equal, you'll be able to manage your stock level to avoid overstocking or running out of stock. That is it. I will not want to go into details. I will leave it there. There's the need, as we progress, not for this class too, to bring in technology integration if you are to deal with the multinationals. But at the lower level, you don't need this technology integration. No, we do not need it because it's a lot of investments. It's a lot of investments. So I'll bypass that slide. Good. Key considerations in situating a warehouse. That's what I talked about. Key considerations. Key considerations, that is very important. Because if these are not considered and you go into it, for sure, the benefits will not be seen. What are some of these key considerations? Location, location, location. Very key. Now, positioning the warehouse close to suppliers, manufacturing hubs, do what? And major consumer markets. If you're not dealing with the industries, Your warehouse must be close to your consumers, must be close to the end users, because it will reduce the logistics or the cost of transportation. At the end of the day, to reduce all costs on the products. But where it is far from that particular point, for sure, your users will not come to you except they have no other options because it will increase their costs. Design and layouts. The physical configuration should support smooth material flow. Smooth material flow. There are some warehouses that I see, maybe that's within their own limits or their own knowledge. Moving products becomes a challenge because they are not properly organized. But these layouts are important because you are dealing with a lot of products, lots with different SKUs, with different categories. So if they are not properly arranged in their particular zones, you find out that one, there are times that will be wasted, they lose money, and they lose most times too time in getting out to the customer. That is where this experience will bring in a skilled manpower that can be trained further in handling these particular issues. I've talked about the security and safety in the past. It's part of it. The security and safety of that product are key. Nobody wants to come and put in their products under your care if you are not sure of the safety of their products. Because warehousing deals with the product that is stored. And so what are the security you have put in place matters. It matters. It matters. Depending, again, I repeat, on the industry at which you are playing. Because these are things some of these big companies are looking at. These are things they are looking at. When they come to the warehouse, they look at the exit strategy. In case of danger, do you have exit doors at the back of the warehouse or at the side of the warehouse in case of danger? Are they available? If not, then you just have to create one because there could be fire outbreak, there could be emergencies. So that's why there's a need. But a lot of warehouses do not have this provision. Hello? Can you hear? Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Oh, beautiful. Do I go on? I pause for one or two questions.
Yeah, so because of time and because of so that we'll not give them too much information, what are the things that you think are important that we can just talk to them about so that we can give them that as a last part for today?
Okay. Now, good. In setting up a warehouse too, let me talk about one of those. There are certain best practices that are needed. Now, a good warehouse, we look at the ceiling height. We are talking of from the base level to the top of the maximum point there and the lowest point. A good warehouse should be at least 6-7 meters high. That is the minimum point. Minimum point should be at least 6-7 meters. Minimum point for a good warehouse. However, it can go as far as 27 feet. And the maximum point depends. But the higher it is, the better. If you go as high as 30 feet, 10 meters and above, it's also good. Why? You can also provide racking. You can optimize the warehouse. The higher it is, the better. the cost of the floor, either it's a 2 meter minimum level or a 10 meters, the cost of the floor is the same. The roofing depends on your style that you want to roof. The roofing is almost the same cost too. The difference is you are taking up the height. That's the difference. Now,
Wow, that's a powerful point.
the integrity of the warehouse also matters. What are you using? It is better to use steel at your columns, and of course, high grade steels for your column works. It's better to high grade steel for your column works. Then you use brick around the steels. That is the external environment. Some tend to use aluminum cover to a point. Some also tend to use brick all through and using pillars casted, depending on the job. But the best practice is to use what? Steel. They surround it what? By bricks. That is the best thing to do. Again, the columns. It's good to have adequate space in between the columns, your steel work, because this will what? Involve ease of movement of products. You have a lot of material handling equipment from forklifts to hand pallet trucks that will be moving inside the warehouse. Where there's not adequate space in between the columns, it makes it difficult. No doubt. And when they come in and see that they may not be interested, it might be a safety issue. So they get away from it. The next thing we look at is the lighting. For you, it is important, if it is what can be afforded, to bring in translucent sheets. These translucent sheets, of course, will allow in natural lightings in the daytime. With these natural lightings, it saves a lot of cost of energy. For us, our translucent sheet is usually at the top, while some put it at the side, whichever model that is needed. That natural lighting, if it's coming in, it's better. But the disadvantage of translucent sheet are probably in 10, 15 years. If it's a good one, 15 years down the road, you might be able to replace some of them, or 20 years. You replace some of those translucent sheets. But the benefits far outweigh the costs. Because a good translucent sheet, for sure, cannot be less than 14, 15 years before it comes replacing any of them. That is for the translucent sheets. Otherwise, in the daytime, you might have to put in your light all the time for operations to go on smoothly. You may have to be on. Now, if you look at the cost of energy in 1 day, in 2 days, in 1 month, in years, cannot be compared to the cost of translucent sheets. It's much more expensive. So having talked about that, what else do you need to do? You might need to provide an office space, but it will be at their cost. So put the office space inside the White House while some are built separately. But these are costings that are done at the onset of it. All this you will now build into the cost of leasing out to them. Warehousing in the Nigerian context. In Nigeria today, warehousing has become a critical backbone in the supply chain process, with the country losing over 3.5 trillion naira annually to post-harvest waste due to absence of adequate cold chain infrastructure. I've mentioned this before. A lot of money is lost in the process because there are not adequate storage facility or specialized one. Let's move on. So I don't give them all the details.
Wow.
What are the
These are
challenges?
powerful. Wow.
There are challenges, of course. No doubt there are challenges. In the warehousing business in the country, there are challenges. I did mention, depending on where you want to play. The first here is not just peculiar to warehousing business. Poor road network. That is why it is important to situate your warehouse close to the manufacturer. It is important to situate the warehouse close to your end users. That to a large extent will reduce this problem of road network. Sometimes between the factory, no matter how close it is, and the third-party warehouse, they might also have some challenges of road network, bad roads. But the further it is, the more hazardous it is. So poor road network is a big challenge. Number two, this one almost affected me when I was starting out because the capital outlay was huge. And of course, at that point, the bank, like I said, came in. It required a huge capital outlay. For industrial warehouse, because of the heavy trucks that will be coming in, because of the huge activity that will be going on, it requires a lot of reinforcement at the floor level.
Wow.
We are talking of sometimes a 40-ton trucks moving with products. We are talking of cranes sometimes walking in if they have to do some renovations. And so if the floor is not good, that would be a big challenge. And that's why I see some people go to some of their houses, begin to see cracks. You begin to see cracks. And once your floor begins to have challenges, it's difficult to rectify it adequately. It costs more. For a good warehouse floor, the minimum thickness, the minimum should be about 8 inches. Minimum. And in between, you have to put in iron mats of 12 mm. In between. Why? The first 4 inches is casted. You put another 4 inches minimum. For us, we use 10 inches casting on our floors. The first 5 inches, then you now put in 12 mm iron mats. Then you now put in the other 5 inches on top. And before then, we had to put in hardcore. Why? These are initial capital outlays. They are expensive initially. In the short run, it is expensive. But in the long run, it is cheap. But if you are using it for example, for human trafficking, you don't need all those reinforcements. You don't need it. And if you are just storing maybe market produce, tomatoes, and other that are not industrial related, you don't need it. But if you must go into industrial warehousing, you have a lot of motorized vehicles coming in, then it must be properly reinforced. It must be properly reinforced. That is inside the warehouse. Externally too, same thing is applicable. All the vehicular movement area outside the warehouse also have to be reinforced with the same between 10 inches to 12 inches thickness for materials externally. It's important. To some people, you say, why would they reinforce inside the warehouse as against the outside? There are occasions when it is raining heavily and they do not want to stop operations. Trucks go inside the warehouse. Trucks go in. And once that is done, also in some warehouses where there are the packaging, you have some equipment, there are some machineries that are inside. To accommodate all this, you now need what? A very good floor that is properly reinforced. High energy costs in the country, big challenge. You cannot rely here on power holding. No. You can't rely on NEPA. No. You can't rely on the code disco. Of course, it's not just common to warehousing, it's a general problem. Challenge, security risk from your internal stakeholders, your workers. Security risk is there. That is also everywhere. Banditry, when you are now moving your products outbound, is there. Oh, the almighty government challenge is there. There are bureaucracies. Like you have also in the residential area, the same is applicable in the industrial warehousing. Shortage of skilled manpower. Shortage of skilled manpower. I can tell you this is a challenge. For some of us, we are trained by our companies when we were still working. We were sent out on training on many occasions. And at that point, we now have to transfer those trainings to people working with us. It's a challenge. Especially if you come to inbound and outbound logistics movement, it's a big challenge, no doubt. One of the heaviest challenges we have here is our government officials. Once they come in, it's like they just position themselves and wait. Multiple government taxations, multiple on our business, multiple. But we have to be in business because we are in for the long run. We are in for the long haul, no doubt. We'll elaborate later.
Wow.
What are the
Wow.
opportunities? The opportunities is there because Nigeria today, the population is huge and we are still growing. And like I said, with industrialization, products, people must eat. People require these products. And the population is a big advantage. So it provides a lot of opportunity. Whatever today that we have in terms of warehousing is not enough, especially for the industrial factors, industrial sectors. It's not enough because the companies will keep expanding. There might be a temporary demand shortage, yes. When there's no high demand for goods, it might be there. These companies will expand over time. And once they expand, what happens? Whatever they have rented or leased will not be adequate. They now look for further warehouses. We started the 3PL logistics here, but within the Agbara area, now you have a lot of warehouses coming up. A lot coming up because it's an industrial hub.
Wow.
Opportunity. If you can also adopt technology, it's important. If you can integrate technology into the business, it's important. Private-public partnership to upgrade infrastructure. Collaboration, of course. Opportunities. It's also important, like I also tell people, where there's a demand and you cannot meet up, you can collaborate, you can partner to establish a good warehouse. One, if you look at going back to what, let me answer doctor's question now. What are the advantages over residential properties? For the commercial property, assuming you have R1 billion and you want to put up, for the purpose of this discussion, you want to put up a 10,000 square meter facility and you have R1 billion. With the same R1 billion, you want to put on 20, maybe 4-bedroom bungalows or 3-bedroom bungalows. Now, look at this business case. 20 bungalows. What does it mean? Without 20 bungalows, you require a minimum of maybe 80 occupants. The husband, the wife, and maybe 2 children minimum. That is on the average. You may have some bachelors there. You might have some people that also have 4 children, but on the average, 4 people to a property. Now, you're dealing with about 80 people with the same 1 billion naira. Assuming they are giving you per bungalow, if you are renting it out, 5 million naira. Maximum you can get is 100 million naira. Maximum. Now look at the wear and tear on the property. Wear and tear on the property of 80 people on that warehouse. The toilet facility, the water facility, the lighting facility, and what have you. They also have a very high risk. Out of these 20 tenants, you can be sure maybe 3 years down the road or 2 years down the road, there'll be some defaulters who may not pay on the same 1 billion naira. And you don't have to be doing a lot of talking, reaching out to them. To do what? On say 1 billion naira. However, if you invest that 1 billion naira in a warehousing facility, you're only dealing with one company at a time, all things being equal, maximally 2, depending on your warehousing space. Depending on your warehousing space. What happens there? For sure, on a 1 billion naira investment, you might have at least times 2 or times 3 of whatever they are paying you in the commercial property. I mean, in the residential property. No doubt. Minimum 100% or more. Minimum. In other words, your return on investments for sure cannot be compared. It's much faster. You recoup your cost of investment in a shorter time. You are dealing with companies who will not owe you. They will not owe you. No. Most times they won't pay, even ahead of the time. As it is expiring, they have their workers there. They are paying. They could maximum delay that I've experienced in over a decade now, or 2-3 weeks, maximum. Maximum, they pay up front. Number 2 or number 3, they have good warehouse best manufacturing practices. They do. These are established companies. They understand these processes. They maintain your facility, no doubt. And when you are discussing with them, these are the things that are needed to be done in the premises. You don't need to discuss more. They know. They know. They know. They know. Because I'm talking of using TICOP as a case study now. They know. Another advantage, you have a long-term leasing with them, some of them. They might even go into a 5-year leasing with you, 10 years leasing with you. And at the end of the day, they will add value to your property. And if you are a go partner with them, they can also collaborate with you to put up a new warehouse, giving you that assurance that they will take up the facility. So these are some of the advantages. More will also come on, like what doctors, because of time. I'm trying to also look at the time.
Yeah, time is done. So just give us your final word, because we don't want to give them everything today. At least let them know that there is a possibility here. So just give us your final word so that we can wrap up for tonight.
Okay. So there are no questions there. If there are no questions, maybe final will now be warehousing is not just a storage facility. No. It is the backbone of modern logistics. It is the backbone of modern supply chain management, no doubt. And it is a silent driver of economic efficiency. It's a silent driver of economic efficiency. Why challenges such as inadequate infrastructure, energy costs, and security concerns remains, no doubt. The opportunities far outweighs the risk. The opportunity far outweigh the risk. And with the rise of population, there will always be the demand for warehousing. And of course, e-commerce is there for those who are also going to e-commerce business. There will always be the growing demand for supply chain solutions. It will always be there. And so, investing in strategic, technologically equipped and secure warehouse facility is not just a choice, but I can tell you, it is a necessity for long-term competitiveness. It's a necessity, especially for big companies collaborating with third-party logistic providers. It's not just a cost, it's a necessity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, my brother. There is no doubt that, so please help us book your slot, or we need you to come and do the full session when we are ready for the clip. And I believe very strongly that every delegate will tremendously be blessed. Everyone listening to us on this platform, do everything you can to make sure you register for GRIB. GRIB is coming up in July, from the 6th to the 12th of July, and it will be an amazing opportunity. Because of time, we'll not be able to take any question tonight. This recording will be put on my YouTube channel, so you can go to my YouTube channel at Dr. Olumide Emmanuel on YouTube, so that you can watch this over and over again. And any question you have, you send to us, we'll be able to see how we can treat it. My brother, thank you very much for the sacrifice. Thank you very much for joining
My
us.
pleasure.
I'll talk to you about the other plans that we have.
Thank you so much.
So everyone, that's our session for this month. Next month, we're going to be having 2 speakers. We're going to be talking about doing real estate right. Doing real estate right, and I'm going to be having Confidence. Confidence will be joining me, and then I am Folajomi will be joining me. So Confidence and Folajomi will be joining me, and we're going to be looking at doing real estate right, doing it right. So Confidence will be speaking from the point of, as a realtor, how do we make sure that we do real estate right for developers. Folajomi will be speaking about doing real estate right from the point of developers and construction. So it's going to be an amazing time. So join me every last Sunday of the month for the Real Estate Masterclass. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll see you again next month. Bye for now.